What's going on, guys? Paul's back for the next part of this tutorial, and now this part what we're going to do is we're going to deal with the data handling. Now I did some stuff on this already, and I was recording it, and the editor just kept crashing, and I just could not figure out, not why it was crashing, I just couldn't figure out how to do this, because something either changed or something's weird. 'Cause, I went back to my old project Rats here, which has got tons of stuff going on, but I got a whole bunch of warnings and shit in here that that were never there before. So 4.8 is different a little bit, but I did figure it out. So what I've done is I've created a blueprint class that is basically it's an actor. Okay, that's its parent class, and in it I've just added some data. Okay, the same data that we're using, and I've actually added an additional one here because I was getting pissed off. So fire rate, firing mode, deviation, rounds per shot, and the shooting montage, which actually corresponds to the same variables that you see here. So what we want to do is we want to be able to, basically when we swap weapons, we basically want to swap the class of weapon that we're looking at, and that should give us all the data we need to have the weapons behave differently based on how many bullets and all that stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a child actor. Okay, and this child actor, we'll just leave it at that. We'll name it that, okay? And when you do a child actor, you can actually choose the class. So we got UE4 weapon, okay? So we'll compile that. But there's a very strange behavior that happens here. It's, I think, a bug. To be perfectly honest with you, it doesn't seem correct. But if I drag off of here, remember, this is set to UE4 weapon. UE4 weapon has a variable in here called what the fuck variable, right? I should get, it shows it, but if I go context sensitive, there's nothing there. And if I go from here, it disconnects. And it says child actor component is not compatible with UE4 weapon reference. So I can't do this. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I gotta cast it. Cast to, let's put back context sensitive, nothing shows up. Nothing. If I uncheck context sensitive, there it is, right? However, if I hook that up and compile, does not inherit from child actor component, this will always fail. So I went online and looked up everything and anything I possibly could. It turns out that the answer is in fact in the very first post. It's just I didn't read it right, and the guys, I felt like it didn't apply to me, but it does. So here's what you have to do, and this is fucking weird. You actually have to say get child actor. Oops, sorry. No, get child context sensitive here. Get child component, I believe, from the child actor. Target is scene component. Am I doing this wrong? No, I think no. That's not right. Hang on. Get child actor. Get child actor again. Okay. So I don't know why that acted weird, so let's just do that again so we can make sure that we're not wrong. Get child actor. This one here. From here, get child actor. Again. I don't know why the fuck you gotta do that, but cast to UE4 weapon. Get the fuck variable. Print it. This is all on begin play. Compile. No warnings, no errors. Play. 69, dude. So then, just so you're aware, the value is 69. So that's what we gotta do, and I don't get it. I really don't get it, but we do gotta do it. Okay. So I don't actually need to do this here, because what we need to have happen, here's what I've done. So I made this UE4 weapon that has these variables, right? Then what I did was I made new blueprints where the parent class is that UE4 weapon. And if you look there, parent class all the way to the right there says UE4 underscore weapon underscore C. That's what we're using. I can't point at it because I'll lose my mouse pointer here. But I basically just said, hey, new blueprint class, and I just came over here, typed UE4 weapon, and then I went from there. Okay, so that the parent is that. And each one of these, it's all I'm doing. There's nothing in the you know, in the graph or anything like that. I'm just changing the variables. So we'll say this is 71, so it's got 2 in the stink or 1 in the stink. But shoot montage the same. Rounds per shot is 1. Deviation is a little bit less, semi-auto and fire rate. And then if I look at the weapon shotgun, okay, we got 12 rounds per shot. Deviation is 5. So we got a little bit of different data going on here. So when we swap the weapon, the fundamental thing that we want to have happen is when we fire the pistol, we want 1 bullet. When we fire the shotgun, we want 12 bullets. And we need to be able to read that from somewhere. So this is hopefully going to work. I'm really confused myself in an essence, because I've been it's 4.8's screwing me up on this, because I was doing this another way before. So what I thought was going to happen didn't. So what I don't think we need that right now. What I think we want to do is when we swap, I just want to have this stuff. You can see I was trying all kinds of shit. I mean, I have stuff like left over that I didn't even delete. I had like 30 things here that I was trying. Seriously, I couldn't get it to work. But it just doesn't make any sense, right? Like, why do you have to get the child actor, then get the child actor of that? Like, it's, to me, seems like I would be getting the child actor of that actor, not of me. But anyways, so what we want to do is right here, what you can actually do is set the class. Okay, so in this case we are going to set the class we are looking at the primary weapon, so we want that to be the weapon shotgun here. Okay, and we'll dupe that down here, and this will be the pistol, weapon pistol. Okay, and we'll just hook that up, and we'll hook that up. And then what we want to do is, after we've done that, I believe we need to do this again. We should not need to have to cast to the child class of that. Child kind of throws me off by saying that. We got 2 different versions of child here. This isn't a child class. This is a child actor component. Okay, a child class is one of these. This is a children of UE4 weapon. You can see the parent class. Okay, this is not the same thing. So what we want to do is, now that we're at UE4 weapon, we're going to say get rounds per shot, and then we want to print that. And all we want to have happen right now is when we swap, we just want to see when we go to the pistol that it prints 1, and when we go to the shotgun it prints 12. And that's basically what's important here for us right now. If that works, I think we're golden. Okay. So we change the class when we swap, and then we do this weirdness, and then we cast so that we can read, and then we print. Okay, we shouldn't get any errors, thankfully. And let's cross our fingers. So if I hit Q, I get a 1. If I hit Q again, please be a 12. Yes, we're set. Okay, thank the gods. All right, that's pretty much how we can receive all the data. So now at this point, what we want to do is take our rounds per shot and set it. We don't need the print anymore. Okay, we can dupe that guy up here, get rid of that. So we just hook that up, and then we hook that up. Okay, we'll compile that. I do want to go back to the self here, and just so I don't kill myself, I want to go with the go back to aiming, and I'm hoping we see 12. There's 12. We hit Q and we shoot. There's 1. Okay, so that's 1 bullet. I know you can't really see it, but if I swap, there's 12. Okay, there is just 1. So it's working. It's working 100%, perfectly good, and I like this. I like the way this works. I don't like having to do this, which is weird, but that's a pretty minor thing. Unless you don't know what the hell is going wrong, and it takes you all goddamn day to figure out that you need to double do it for some weird reason. And then honestly, all we can go down this list and start picking up all this stuff. So let's get deviation. Okay, and then we will set deviation. Now, by the way, these are 2 completely different variables. Okay, this is actually the local version, and this is from, or this is the local version. This is what we're reading from our child class. Okay, so we can do that and hook that up. And what we can do is we can go through and we can start reading all of this data now and use it however we want. I'm actually going to leave it here because really the fundamental theory is set. We need to, each weapon now can say, hey, you know, my shoot montage is, now I got a pistol one or something like that. Here, you know what, I'll do the handshake montage when you fire the pistol. So when you fire the gun, when you fire the shotgun, he should play the shotgun animation, but if I swap weapons and I fire... Well, actually, I'm not even reading it yet. I'm not even reading it yet. We need to get shoot montage and set our shoot montage. Okay. So this is how we can tell it to swap to a completely different animation. So he shoots, if we swap, he does the handshake. Okay, I just don't have a pistol montage, that's all. Okay, but there's a theory, and again, as soon as we hit Q, you know, everything is now behaving correctly. Obviously, we don't have any checks to see if you can't do anything while we're currently firing and stuff like that. You shouldn't be able to swap weapons if you're in the middle of reloading or firing or whatever. You know, however you want to deal with that kind of balancing, because that is actually balancing, like for real, like on an FPS. How long does a reload take? Can you cancel a reload? Can you reload while you're sprinting? That all changes the way the whole game plays. So I think we're good. Now, what I want to do really quick, this is save all in case we get a crash, is I'm going to show you how this can actually get down the road. This is what I do to read all the data. Okay, I just string it out. So what is my firing montage for one player? What is my reload? What is my... Did I do that twice? I do that twice like a dumb shit. What is my aim firing? What is my... And I do that again twice? Primary weapon actor, primary weapon actor. Yeah, I'm stupid. For some reason I'm doubling that. But I got equip, unequip, weapon fire, weapon reload. You gotta understand that I got 3-player and 1-player going on. So yeah, so basically, you know, like I'm doing here, you just need to, when you do your swap, you just need to string it all out. Now this is a very, very good candidate for creating a custom function, because this can get rather lengthy, assuming that you have a lot of data in here. You know, because like if you look at my rats, you know, I've got a lot of... Do I have the weapon? No, see, I did it here. Rats. weapons, here, and in the 92FS I have the actual blueprint here, and you can see that I get all of these different pieces of data, right? What is my 1-player skeletal mesh? What is my 3-player skeletal mesh? What animation blueprint am I using? Okay, for 1-player and 3-player. What is the actual weapon's name? How much ammo does it have? Do I need to offset my camera for this weapon? What firing animation? What reloading animation? All of this stuff. Okay, fire mode, rate of fire, what's the bullet type, and then stuff like that. So you can string this out with thousands and thousands of pieces of data, but unfortunately when you do that, you kind of got to go in and then read it all. There's no way that I know of to say, hey, populate everything at one, just in one shot. I'm sure C++ could do that. Give me all my variables and just go ahead and transform all. But in the end, to be honest with you, it's really just a matter of making it a function. And what you can see, the way I originally did this is I didn't actually add a child. I did, but I never used it because I couldn't figure it out. So what I ended up doing instead was I just spawned it. Okay, and I spawned one for primary and I spawned one for secondary, because in my case I the slots aren't going to change. The fact that you're using a secondary weapon, every time you hit Q in my game, you merely swap between primary and secondary. That's all you can do. Whatever is assigned to that, though, will determine mesh, animation, sounds, how much ammo, how fast is it, all the damage, all that shit, right? So that's how I'm doing it, and I like this method. I like the child actor method. It's actually quite handy, and we're very, quite easily able to go through and anytime you need something new, like for instance, I want to play a different sound, what we can do is say, well, let's do that. Let's give each weapon a different sound. So when you fire the weapon and you spawn the bullet, at some point I'm telling it to play a sound. Is that up here? Oh shit. Oh, you know what it is? Oh, you know what? I'm doing the sound in the animation. So I don't even have to worry about sound. The reason for that is hopefully this doesn't throw a wrench in the old confusion loop here. If you remember my rifle fire animation here, no, the rifle weapon fire animation. Oh, okay. Remember right here, I'm telling the animation to play here. This is going to need to be promoted. Okay, can I promote that new anim to play? Can't promote that? Skeletal mesh component. It's an anim sequence, so I should be able to create a new variable, and we'll call this weapon mesh fire anim. This is different than the player, and I should be able to come here and type anim, find anim sequence, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, so if I compile that, now I think I can hook that up, and I can. I just want to set the default to be UE4 rifle fire weapon only anim. Okay, so now what I can do is I can hook this up here. And now all I got to do is go to UE4 weapon, add that same variable basically. Okay, so this will be weapon mesh fire anim. Come over here, change it to anim instance. Compile that. That's, oh, is this new? Is this new? Because I was bitching about this for ages. Sorry, it's anim sequence. That's why that came up. But that's new. That is new. Oh, I gotta compile before it'll let me do that. It's gotta actually change it. And then, in this case, I don't have a pistol, so I'll actually, actually, I'll default it to the rifle. Okay, but what I'll do here is clear it. Weapon mesh fire anim gets cleared on this guy. Shotgun, it stays the same. Okay, so I'm hoping we don't get a sound now when we shoot the pistol, because, well, actually I'm not reading it yet when I swap. So I got to do that again. So we're going to say get weapon, sorry, from here, get weapon mesh fire anim, and then we set ours. You know what they need? They need a control and shift or a control and alt to dupe, don't they? Also, there needs to be a key where you can say, hey, I want to hold shift and I connect that, and then it keeps me connected and I can connect multiple things if I hold a hotkey. Wouldn't that be handy? Instead of having to always drag from the source every time. Now, there may or may not be a problem with us playing an animation that's blank. It may or may not cause us issues. So we may or may not want to say, like, not equal none, you know, or something like that. Or we may want to do a is valid or something kind of check on here before we try to run the animation. I have a feeling that it's just going to say there's no animation, so it won't do anything. But we may actually get a warning or an error when we play, and if that happens, we don't like that, you know. So let's see. We should get a sound. And on swap, we shouldn't get a sound. And we don't. Okay, we go back and we get a sound. Because now, when we swap, we're no longer playing that rifle animation. We were before, and the reason is because that mesh was still there, it's just hidden. Also, we need to determine whether or not we are on primary or secondary weapon, because this is only going to play it for the primary weapon mesh. We actually need to kind of do a switch here. I swear to God, there used to be a switch on bool. There used to be a switch on Boolean, man, and I don't... select... I don't... Is there a selector? There's no such thing as swap. See, we can switch on int. Because really, there's no switch on bool. That's kind of stupid. Why isn't there a switch on Boolean? What's the difference between inputting that or a... You know, obviously it would just be an A and a B, because the Boolean's 0 or 1, right? So this gives us the ability, hey, you know, we can switch on different ones. So what we may want to do is change this to be an integer. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, we can kind of trick it. So if we're using the rifle, then it's 0 or 1, and if not, then we get that. And then we can switch now. So what we would do is dupe that guy. Again, I don't have an animation for this. check and target, and we would do the same thing here, but now, and we need this to also go forward, but now we can do something like this. Okay, so it says now that if we're using the rifle, which would be A, we'd get 1. That would be secondary. We need to swap these. Actually, we'll just do that. So if we're using the rifle, we run from 0, which is from the primary. Remember, primary is our rifle, secondary is our sidearm. So, and we can use the same animation here, and this should work. This should still work, and should start working when we have a pistol. So that works. Hit Q. Okay. And we still do our handshake animation. So hopefully this makes sense. This was kind of weird. I kind of wish there was a switch on bool, but it's really not that hard. You can just do it like, make it like this. So you can switch on int, but throw a select int that uses bool before that. And no matter which path we go down here, we still want to terminate into the same thing. And we could probably make this a custom event and call the custom event right here. That's slightly organization, but it also does give you the ability to throw another check as to whether or not you're running server. You could also do an authority check, you know, has authority, switch on authority, whatever, however you want to do that. That's out of the scope of this tutorial right now. So let's just leave it at that. Alright, so hopefully, I think the series is done. If you guys have more questions or want to see more stuff, let me know. I'd rather not do anything specific, like, hey, can you please show me how to make a sniper rifle. I don't really want to do a tutorial on animations because I have done that in the past. Like I said, that Glock tutorial for UDK, all the animations and stuff, it's the same thing. I haven't changed that process at all. So hopefully you guys found this interesting. Once the whole series is up, well, which it will be at this point when you guys see the video, but there'll be a playlist available too. I may or may not make this project available. If you guys really want it, let me know, but I think you can tell that it's it'll be okay reference, but you're not going to really be able to use anything out of this. The weapons are dog shit. And honestly, not to be a dick or greedy or anything, but I'm not exactly willing to give away this Colt Python because it's in my game, and I don't want what's in my game in your game, you know, and you don't want what's in your game in my game. So anyways, this is Hitpost signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and again, let me know if you guys have any questions or want to see something you know, specific, and I'll see what I can do.